Welcome to another Jackalmen Games podcast. We were created with laughter in mind, so join us while we giggle and grow together. So anything crazy happened since I've seen you?
Nothing's really changed since you've seen me last. Last time when we departed from the wonderful place of Oakwood, as I watched your brown hair bob in the distance and part through the double bay glass doors. Since that moment, we basically finished up dinner that day. We literally went back to my place and threw everything into my theater room, and it literally looked like a bomb went off. Like, stuff was everywhere. There was like halfway filled beer containers, coffee and soda and other things and liquids, and I couldn't identify, which is very scary.
Ugh.
And
I was surprised he would function. Mess that left in his.
for our listeners, that is our distant voice of Nicholas Rizzo, the third, by the way. There's three of these guys.
But yes, I'm surprised you functioned after we just left everything the way it did.
Yeah, so I have OCD issues, so we basically unpacked everything. At that point, we went over to Nick's house because everyone that was did not go back to Alabama, which was Deanna and Adam. So it was Lake, myself, James, Eric, and Nick. So we all went back to the house.
And Lake.
Yes, and Lake.
Yeah.
Again, I think I named that already.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
I love you. So anyway, we all just hung out, man. We made some drinks, and we just sat on the porch, Eric and I, and talked till about 1 o'clock in the morning. We told ourselves that we weren't going to talk about the jackal hunt. We were going to discuss that in our next jackal meeting to kind of go over a lot of the details, the do's, the don'ts, the trial and errors, and things to be learnt, to say that improperly. And here we are. We're basically back to a work week. I was on vacation that week, so I came back to work on Monday, and then the boss and the boss's wife basically had to make a rush trip to Connecticut. So as soon as I got back to work, the bosses skipped out, went to Connecticut, and I've been running the whole shop by myself and trying to play catch up. So it's been hectic. We haven't had our jackal meeting about everything, just kind of talked like in chat about things that we want to change and just some ideas, but I'm definitely excited to get it all on paper. But since we left, that was basically a recap of what happened, which is just life, really.
I like how it started like a fan fiction about me. I really like that part. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Jackalmen Games podcast, which has been on a hiatus again for 2 weeks because I was traveling and
The jackal hunt, baby.
Yeah, and I was on vacation and I didn't want to stress. It's not like the podcast brings me stress. This is actually something I really super enjoy, and it's a hobby of mine, but it's just something that I didn't want to worry about.
Yeah, you gotta think about having content available and staying focused and all that fun stuff. But we really wanted to wait to kind of have a chance to just kind of explode in our thoughts and ideas and opinions and excitement from the jackal hunt. So I think this is a good time to do that.
Hey, can you just say who you are before we keep going?
Yes. So my name is Ashton.
Hi, Ashton.
And also known as Riddlebox.
And you are the co-founder of Jackalmen Games. Everybody knows that.
Co-founder
Jeez, gosh.
of Jackalmen Games. That's right.
So, yeah, if you guys have not paid attention to the Facebook group or you're just a new listener, we had this crazy event that just happened this past Saturday. Actually, the time that you're listening to it, there's been a Saturday in between. It was 2 Saturdays ago. It was Saturday, April 27th. Yeah. And I traveled all the way to Florida for it. And I gotta say, it went pretty well.
So after the event, a lot of people were talking about how well they thought it went, how smooth it was, how organized everything came to play. All the raffles that took place in between the rounds were smooth. It didn't make it very chaotic. Now, I was very surprised to hear that because we started planning this in January. But towards the end, before the tournament happened, we had to just kind of change up some of our plans last minute. And we had to get there to the store on the actual Saturday of the event, the 27th, 2 hours before registration happened. So
Yeah.
we had to make sure that there was enough people to seat for the event, plus make sure that there's 2 additional rooms at Breakpoint Games available for their Destiny or their Magic pre-release, which is Spark of Hope, right? Distant Voice.
Yes, Spark of Hope.
Okay, and so I met. He's a big Magic player.
Not War of the Spark.
Not War of the Spark.
Yeah, War of the Spark, not Spark of Hope. That's the Destiny one, guys. Come on.
Yeah,
There
come
are
on,
other
people.
games.
Well, there is a whole Destiny turned into Magic, and that's not a bad thing. It's definitely got a lot of new archetypes and subtypes and synergy there. But anyway, so we had to end up setting up before the event 2 hours. And we got the stream table set up, got the computer all hooked up, mics and cameras and lighting. We had some awesome LED lighting set up for that day. We got the new 4K Logitech Brio webcam to stream it, which was really high quality. But we didn't test anything. We just straight up hooked it up and just like, all right, this business better work, because if not, we're gonna have some problems, because now it's time to shine. So when we set everything up, got everything going, we kind of got the rhythm of people getting together. We tried to fire off the first raffle box, which was sponsored by Your Destiny, T3 Gaming, and then also Knights of Ren and Jackalmen Games. T3 Gaming donated the Spot Gloss Boba Fett. Your Destiny did the Spot Gloss Vader, and then Knights of Ren and Jackalmen Games went in together for a whole box of Convergence. So we just launched this event with the giveaway raffle of that, and we changed some things. So, I mean, Kevin, you want to talk somewhere in here? I know.
Well, I know. The thing is that this wasn't my baby. Like, this was definitely you and Eric and James's baby, this event. And I was just here to, like, definitely promote the heck out of it.
Did that.
And I know that the original plan was to have the raffles, like, you bought tickets into a raffle, and then it would slide away, and then you'd have to buy into the next raffle. And
so the goal, hey, you're going to buy 5 tickets. He buys 5 tickets. She buys 5 tickets. We pull the winner. Raffle's done. Next raffle, whole new slew of ticket purchases. That was the way it was originally designed.
But if you think about it, nobody's going to want to keep buying into that. And
I mean, and that's one thing that we learned from, and that's why I'm very thankful for this opportunity. Like Breakpoint housing this and the community showing up, 30 people showed up to this event. 3 people.
Yeah, a whole 3 of them.
30, hey, even if it was 3 people, I has to be happy. There really was some stuff, man. But 30 people showed up to this event. That's not including the 7 of us. So there was 37 people in that store, not including the people that were there for the Magic pre-release. And I'm very thankful for what Breakpoint did for us. They accommodated us. They made room. They dealt with a crowded store on what feeds all these card shops and board game sales locations is Magic, and they still made a way for us to be there. And I'm very excited that they were able to support the game and support Jackalmen Games. So there's a reason why their logo's on the back of our jersey. So even though we were all a little stressed and trying to figure out how to make all this work and fit, we did it. So, but I mean, back to this raffle. So it was originally designed that way, but we're like, you know what? We'll just keep the pot going. Because there's already kind of a lot going on, the moment we call pairings, everyone sits down, we go ahead and pull the next ticket, that winner gets this, or whatever the raffle is at the time, then those tickets would then go away into the trash, and then we would just start the round, the next pairing, the same thing. And that's a lot smoother and a lot better. Our reasoning behind doing separate raffles and separate ticket purchases is because if someone wanted to go in on the first raffle we had, which was the 2 spot glosses and the box Convergence, you could say, hey, I'm going to put $100 in because I know that the value here is $100. So even if I pay full face value, at least it's going towards charity, which is Triangle Elementary, and at least I walk away with something at full face value as well, versus putting $100 in and then only getting like a set of tokens, and and that was our concern. But if you think about it, if they invested $100 and they pulled a set of tokens, that's just one raffle ticket. They have another roll of tickets that they continue to have in the pot as they go forward. And that was something that just kind of changed last minute. We rolled with it. The community was great. It's not like we had people like, oh my God, this isn't working. You guys, why are you doing this? It's trash. I mean, everybody was just like, whatever you guys want to do. And that was really awesome.
Yeah.
So we changed that. That worked. that is a mental note we're making. We will be doing probably next time just like that. And that was an example of one of the little bumps we had that we had to kind of change on the fly.
And I mean, our stream was pretty decent for except the
So
first 2 rounds too, right?
yeah, so here's what happened.
You're the stream guy. Tell me what's up.
Technology is my thing, right? And we didn't
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
way of testing any of this. And essentially what was happening is for anyone listening to this, okay, so all 5 people, listen up. If you want to stream,
It's
okay,
more than that, Ashton.
once you get the focus, no, I'm joking. Once you get the focus, okay, adjusted, go into your camera settings and remove the autofocus, because as people's arms were passing in front of the camera to grab the dice, it was causing the camera to focus in and out, and it was causing it to glitch. And I mean, it's not dealing with like computer speed, so to speak. That was just dealing with the way that it was handling the imaging, and it was causing some glitches. So I had to go in and adjust that. There was another issue where the camera plug wasn't fully seated, and it was kind of like it came unplugged somehow. So it like glitched the camera one time. I mean, keep in mind, we're cramming all these people in this tiny little store. Like, it's not like there's a lot of room for stuff not to get bumped. So little glitches like that. But again, those are things that I know to do, but didn't do, because when we finished the night before, right? I'm all over the place.
You're
Friday,
fine.
before Saturday, yeah, it's me, ladies and gentlemen. Friday, before the event, Kevin, myself, and James, we worked towards, and Nick, distant voice. Hello, Nick.
Hello, everybody.
He's like that Palpatine, the laugh in the distance. We all sat down. We're like, we're gonna sort all of these prizes, because in some of the pictures of the first, second, third, and fourth place winner, you don't really get an idea of the prizes. You kind of had to be there, and it was just crammed, so it was hard for us to really get a lot of pictures that we wanted. But if you look at our Facebook page, where we have all the product spread across the table, we basically, after we took that picture, we just tore it all down. We started putting everything in little baggies all the way up to the 20th place, and we just had it all set up and ready to go and labeled, including the separate prizes for the raffle. That took us till 2:00 in the morning, and then we had to be up and out by 6 so we can make sure that we got breakfast and was there by the time the store opened at 8 to set up. So we're all running on like 5-6 hours of sleep. Like, we're all exhausted.
I even
probably less than that. Yeah,
I pansied out. I was like, okay, I set all this up. I'm going to bed.
mm-hmm. And that's okay. And we had our jerseys to show off for the event. I was super excited about. Myself, Eric, and James, we had our jerseys printed with our sponsors on the back, and they're our official Destiny Jackalmen game jerseys, so to speak, with our name on the back, our alias name. And James got a jersey that is actually a hockey jersey style, so he can kind of have this whole Kevin Smith kind of look. And the issue with that is the freaking arm sleeves are super, super long. Like, you got pant legs on your arms. And we're like, this ain't gonna work. Like, we gotta do. So Rizzle, his mom is she can do anything and everything. Well, she pulled out her seamstress skills, and she basically cut this jersey. Now, keep in mind, he paid, James, I'm sorry, I'm about to tell everybody how much money you make. This guy paid $230 for this jersey. We bring it over to Rizzle's mom's house, and she cuts the thing up. I'm like, bro, you got $230 cut up on this table. But she did it, man. She seamed it all back together. The lines in the jerseys were flawless. The sleeves were perfect. It was really comfortable for him, and she pulled that together like 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah, that was rock star status. Way to go.
Yeah, they've been awesome, and not only that, but Rizzle's parents' house where we go, they always house the guys. Like, some of them stay at my house in the theater room, some of them stay at his house, and I mean, we even wake up and they make us breakfast, like bacon and eggs and freshly squeezed orange juice by yours truly. They put me to work when I was there, and toast. And I mean, they just take such good care of us. Like, when we travel, we're definitely a family. But anyway, that all happened before the event. So with that being said, there's just a lot of like maximum speed. We set up the PA system when we got there. So after like the first round, we were kind of more settled in because of the time frame. We started announcing winners and announcing round pairings after PA system. Like, there was some sloppiness, but the way that I feel we handled it, the community didn't really notice. We were kind of doing things behind the scenes as they were playing, and it just worked out very well. So next year, I'm not sure if we're going to still plan on the 27th because it all depends on how the weekends fall. But I assume we'll probably be doing it around the same time every year, potentially at different locations, so we can have more room for people and kind of bring the community to different stores to support them also. But we will have a lot of these kinks worked out. You know, the
Yeah.
raffles worked out and all that kind of fun jazz.
And
So,
hopefully Wizards doesn't go like, oh, the Jackalmen are having an event, and also we are having a pre-release.
about that, the manager of Breakpoint Games, awesome guy, his name's Derek. The owner, his name is Dave. The way that worked out is in January, early January, right after we got back from Miami, we're actually driving back. I sent him a message about if we're able to do something in April around this time frame. Well, at that point, he wasn't aware that there was going to be a pre-release. And I needed to kind of know a date so we could start letting people know. Because if people are going to travel, and people love to travel for this game Destiny, because you kind of have to get into a good, community number, we had to make sure that we put a date onto something as soon as possible. So once we kind of put that date out, then there was a release for the pre-release for Magic. It's kind of like, well, we're going to see how it goes, So that's how that happened. So next time we'll try to maybe pick a month first, and then we will target an actual date as we maybe get a couple months away from the event, possibly.
Yeah, and for selfish reasons, I definitely was pushing for the week of either the 19th or the 27th because that's when I
Right.
would be traveling. My mom's birthday is in the middle of those 2 weekends, and I wanted to see my mama. And it was my spring break as well as a
And
teacher.
Easter. Easter just happened.
Yeah, we didn't. And also we moved it back a week because we didn't want it to be on Easter Sunday or the day before.
Right. Yeah, we want it to be, and people travel for Easter also and take vacations around that time. And I end up taking my vacation too at the same time. So there was kind of like a good rhyme and reason why we picked that weekend, because we were trying to get all 7 Jackalmen in the tournament. Well, the way we end up having to do that is James and myself, we ended up having to jump out of the tournament. We didn't get a chance to play because we filled the store up. So to make sure we had enough seating arrangements, we jumped out, which there's 7 total Jackalmen, but 5 that only participated in the event. So ChanceQ recently did a podcast and a live stream about the event and had nothing but great things to say. So shout out to those guys. Thank you so much for your support. We actually had Jason there, which was awesome. Super friendly, nice guy. I mean, he's very approachable, very into the game, the community. I mean, it was so cool seeing your Destiny there, and Chance Cube, and Jackalmen Games, and Hyperloops all being represented here, and everybody just had such a blast. And everybody was very connected. But anyway, yeah, what was I talking about?
I forget, Ashton. I just
all this information.
I follow you and follow you and follow you, and then all of a sudden we're both lost. Like,
what'd you say, Nick? Yeah, so there's 5 of us in the tournament, and the issue we are having is we wanted to make sure we had enough seating, so 2 of us jumped out. If we had all 7, I feel we would have had someone gain the 3 total dog tags by defeating 3 Jackalmen, probably within the 5th or 6th round of Swiss.
Most definitely, yeah.
All the Jackalmen have a different play style and also have a different criteria of where they would rank. And it was so cool because me and James were having a conversation and we're just like, man, look at that. Like the Jackalmen are scattered all throughout the tables. So everyone really has a good chance. Like Deanna's up at table 14, and Nick and Kevin are over at table 17, and Eric's over there at table Eric stayed at top tables mostly.
Eric made it to top 8, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great player, man. And the deck that we were all playing was an infinite deck, but nerfed essentially. Yeah. So it was more thematic and fun because we're playing bounties that represented ourselves. So it was balanced in that aspect, but it was also underpowered on purpose. But long story short, that all went very well. We did have Joshua win the bounty box. He actually won it during the top tables because if it wasn't for Eric ranking into top tables, there would have been probably no potential at all for anyone to hit the bounty because he hit that in the top table. Now, if there was 2 more of us scattered in the crowd, it would have triggered quicker. So we kind of know the ratio a little bit now.
Yeah, dude, the next one's gonna be so cool, and I can't wait to theme it after something a little bit. I think we'll still call it the Jackal Hunt, but we should theme it
Yes.
differently.
The title will be the Jackal Hunt. It will be an event every year. We will possibly do it at different locations to share the love and then kind of rotate back. So if we do Breakpoint now, we may be doing Fanatics in Alabama next. That's
I
probably what's coming down the pipeline.
I know for certain without asking yet. I know talking to the shop owner Scott up at Highlander
Highlander?
Games in Boonton, New Jersey. I'm pretty sure he will be totally cool with it. The thing is, he was able to host the largest regional in last season of
Right.
72 players, I think. 70 players,
Awesome.
67 players, something big like that. So if we can cram that store with
Yeah.
60 players, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it'd be
Well,
so
see,
cool.
if we think about it as kind of like a little circuit and we plan a little better, we could have potentially fit, and it would have been tight now. I'm not saying we would have had a bunch of room, but we could have probably fit another 15 players in that location where we're at.
Hmm.
And if we go Breakpoint, we go Fanatics, and then we go Highlander, and we just kind of repeat that circuit, we're kind of just running up the East Coast. And that's fun. We're not hitting California over there on the West Coast.
Yeah, Monk would be sad.
Right. But I mean, where we're at and where the Jackal live for the event is kind of where we're at. But the prize support
Ooh.
was great. Andrew Cox, who won the event, congratulations to him playing Snoke, Watto, First Order Stormtrooper, and running like a big support beatdown deck with Salt as the battlefield. One of the things he was super excited about was the dice organizer. He's got boxes, he's got all these things and trays and packs. And I mean, the guy walked away with tokens and alternate art cards and trophy and dice organizers. But the dice organizer was a big thing because it stacks, it holds 81 dice per tray. And these are made by Wiregrass, which is like our official sponsor. And he was like, man, this alone was enough for me to come out and compete for this event. And that means a lot from the guy that does nothing but compete at top level events.
Right. Yeah.
And this is what he does. I mean,
Those
the guy
things.
played paintball and frisbee, and he's played sports, and he's also
X-Wing.
X-wing, and I mean, he's just very competitive by nature. And that means a lot if he supports us and is happy with our prize support.
One thing that was interesting for me was it's definitely I go to every event and I definitely try to win at every event, and I don't do that well or as well as I'd like. I usually end up with a batting 500 record, pretty even. But this was one tournament where it's like, man, if I do trash, people are going to be happy.
Right. Right.
And after the event, there was one of our good friends, Christian. He wanted to play everybody before he left so that he could
Mhm.
earn our dog tags and
That was
our
very
alternate
popular.
arts. Yeah, everybody wanted a game before we left, and he's like,
Right.
come over here, I'm gonna beat you. Come over here
Oh,
right
they had to
now."
earn it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, people wanted the card, but to get the dog tag to kind of collect them, they were coming up to us, and I played a few games also, which was nice to actually play at the end of the day, and just kind of do like our little independent kind of little circuit with people that are there to try to collect those dog tags. So that was fun.
yeah,
Vindicator Design was there, and he was
yeah,
selling his stainless steel character trays, but
and
also making tokens, bro. Why
yeah.
people were there for color and spec that they wanted. I mean, they turned into like a little mini convention there towards the end.
And he actually did travel farther than me. He traveled from Albany, New York.
Yes.
He made a little pit stop on his vacation, it seems. But
Yes.
I told everybody on the podcast I'd buy you lunch if you traveled farther than me. And I said, "What do you want? You want Panera Bread? You want this? You want that?" And he's just like, "Nah, I passed. This event is enough, you know." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna tell everybody you said that. Like, I'm not
What was
going."
cool is during the event we weren't really playing, but as players were jumping out there, coming up to us and talking to us, like, man, this is really neat. This is exciting. This is a good idea. I like the jerseys. Thank you for doing this. People were very grateful, and that's what it's about. If the community is putting on these large events and there's that support, the game won't die. I mean, people got packs, but these packs still have cards that hold value of $30 to $40. I mean, even if they're getting stuff they don't need, they can sell them or trade them or still potentially get a value out of them. And for Andrew Cox, it's funny. He uses this Ultra Guard dice tray that he has that he uses for like X-Wing and all these other games. The freaking thing's falling apart. Well, what's awesome is when he got the Jackal box for the first place prize by Wiregrass, it actually has a built-in dice tray, and I was like, dude, this is what you need. I better see this next time I'm playing against you, because you just open it up, your dice are there, your tokens are there. There's a tray built into it. It folds up really small and compact. It's not bigger like some of the other styles that we've seen by other creators, and it's just he was very grateful, and that means a lot for someone that just kind of has everything. But I mean, other than that, man, raffles are good. Turnout was great. Prize support was appreciated. We started on time.
And
we
we
actually
ended
ended
a
up
schedule.
ending. We
Yeah.
ended 2 hours earlier, and we got a lunch thrown in there. Breakpoint did a whole pizza deal. So there was pizza. We had people that were getting pizza in between a couple of rounds. I mean, it just all worked very well. Way smoother and more accommodating than any regional that I've been to, and Galactic Qualifier. So that's what our target was, and for 4 months of planning, we did it. Last little thing I'll throw in: the first, second, and third place first annual 2019 Jackal Hunt mats are here. They got delayed by DHL, freaking DHL. They ended up coming in like 3 to 4 days late, and they finally came in. And luckily, all the first, second, third place winners are local. So that kind of helps us with some of the shipping, because they will not be refunding our shipping. They said, "Oh well, this is just the way it goes," despite my aggressive tempered emails. And so we will be dispersing those to those placeholders, and they're really cool. And as we do each year themed, it's going to be great, kind of seeing the collection of that. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah, when we get some side funds, we need to. I really want a collection of them framed.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And Matt, have them framed, everything signed with the dog tags. That's a neat little. I mean, this is the first event that we ran.
Yeah, it's
period.
Yeah,
it's a milestone.
So speaking of events, there are other events coming up. You're trying to get to one on
Yes.
Saturday. What are you going to?
So, if my mama watch my kids, I will be going to the $500 cash tournament at Cool Stuff in South Orlando with Rizzle, Eric, and James. So we are super excited for that. It's a standard event.
So there's an event coming up in September in Texas, in San Antonio, Texas. Jacob Walsh was on here either last episode or the episode before to talk about his event that he's having. His is a Star Wars Destiny tabletop, like, all-encompassing event, and he's looking to have Destiny there. And also there's Kappa Cup coming up. You have the dates on that, Ashton?
Yeah, so Kappa Cup, there was something released. I've been following them on Facebook, just Kappa Cup 2019. They released something April 19th saying that registrations are going live June 8th, and that there's more event info coming soon. And then on March 11th, he released that Kappa Cup is back 2019, October 25th and 27th. And that is at the Holiday Inn in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
so Hershey, Pennsylvania, Kappa Cup 2019, October 25th and 27th.
I was lucky enough to go with Thunder to that last year. I guess that's last year. And
it was.
It's right next. It's like you can smell the chocolate. It's right next to Hershey, and that the Jackal Hunt was sort of, I guess, kind of based on it, because he had raffles every round, and he talked to every content creator. And this person, by the way, is Adam Landon, and he's a good buddy of mine. He did come and stay over during the New Jersey regional. He came and used me as a landing pad,
right?
And he had raffles every round. He talked to every content creator. Golden Dice ran the stream for him. It was a really great Destiny event. Discard to Reroll was there doing a live podcast. They had
beer.
Oh yeah. There's a beer down. There's a beer. There's a bar. There's a bar in the bottom of the Holiday Inn, because this Holiday Inn is like very convention-y. Mm-hmm. So while people were like out in the hallways building like their landscapes for I don't know, Legion, for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for Legion. There was like business executives walking around like, what is going on here?
Right.
And there was a bar and they were selling some cheap beer. And at the start of a round, it's actually a memory that will stick with me. He wanted to buy Thunder a beer, and he's like, "Okay, round three starting. This raffle is given by me first. The first winner is Ray." And he wins a beer, and he gets a beer put down in front.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. We unfortunately didn't have any alcohol at our event, but guess what? There's always next year.
Or did we?
What?
Nothing. Just want to
I
thank you
mean,
for
I don't judge. I wouldn't put it past Jeff. Like Headless Jenko would definitely bring some beverages with him.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like not to make him sound like a wino, but like he's always like going on drinking adventures and having a great time.
Yeah, he definitely tries to understand
He's a
the alcohol.
he's a connoisseur.
Connoisseur.
Yeah, so he knows it has like woody tones and berry aftertastes, and like me and you are like, this tastes good, man.
Yeah. So Kappa Cup with Adam Landon running this whole event, me and him have been kind of talking quite often, and he was like, look, I really want you to be here at Kappa Cup this year. Like, I'd be willing to help you fly up here. And that's really cool and very nice of him to do that. He's really trying to build a community, and what he does is really neat because it's all platforms. And earlier when you're talking about like inspirations, that was an inspiration for us. You know, my goal is to have a whole convention hall rented out, or a conference room at a hotel, like what he does, and try to just make it all Destiny oriented. Like my goal for the Jackal Hunt, and this is like my end game, like what I'm trying to. Good movie, by the way. I haven't seen it yet. But what my end game is here is to actually have it to where we are all playing Destiny. There is potentially a side event for the Jackal Hunt instead of making it part of the main tournament, but literally having tables and booths for people that make content for Destiny, or make products for Destiny. So there will be like a convention with the tournament. So you would have Wiregrass there, literally taking orders before the event and cutting things, because it takes 2 or 3 hours to make certain products. So they have products for sale. They'd be able to make custom items while they're there. Little things like that would be great. Having like Vindicator Designs making stuff, cutting stuff in vinyl, making what people need. Possibly having people like printing shirts, making vinyl stickers for people. You know, something along that line, to where when you're there playing Destiny, you can be purchasing product or getting stuff custom made, because that's the stuff that I like, you know. And then there's a podcast going on. There's another content creator narrating, or going over certain plays during the stream, doing like a commentation kind of thing. I mean, there's so many things that we could have, and that just all comes down to planning, making it to where if you have a lot of moving pieces, it's all well thought out, and there's a lot of space. That way things don't feel congested. So that's my idea of like the perfect Jackal Hunt, is simply like a mini convention, but only directed towards Destiny. Nothing that explores into the other, like Armada and Legion and X-Wing. Just keep it Destiny oriented, really.
What would be really cool is if we can get like galactic qualifiers certified.
Spot losses.
And then we run our own like Jackal GQ.
Sure.
That would.
Well, I did actually reach out to FFG, and when I reached out to them, they did not say no. I also reached out to some other higher end content creators, and they did not say no. They simply said, just give me the heads up next time, because of where we're at with things. We can't currently do anything for the timeline that you're in, but for the next event, there's possibilities.
Are you talking like we could go to like Tallahassee, Alabama, or Tallahassee, Oklahoma, Tesla?
Wait, the voice spoke.
Not Tuscaloosa. Where the heck is Tulsa, Oklahoma, and go to Team Covenant and rent out Team Covenant for the Jackal Hunt?
I don't know if they do that, because we'd be taking up their whole store for that. But
man.
They kind of do their own Masters event, so they kind of do their own thing.
No, this is
but
different.
I mean, like FFG, like actually donating legitimate prize support.
Yeah. Oh, actually, hey,
Star Wars stuff instead of just things that have content creators' names on it. You know, that kind of thing, like actual Destiny or Star Wars product support.
Do you feel comfortable talking about like how much we raised for? Has that been talked through?
No, it has not. So officially, we have not told anybody about this. We haven't made a post on it. We just finished going and crunching all the numbers with Breakpoint. We kind of finished that up Tuesday this week. This is actually Thursday night. We're recording this podcast.
Oh, spoilers. Don't tell them when we record this.
So we actually raised $500 for charity.
Yeah.
So everyone that purchased the raffle tickets actually raised $500 for Triangle Elementary after school program. And that's really exciting to be able to do that. And I think that all charities, especially when the stuff is donated to the event or sponsored by other content creators, there should be a benefit that's not to us.
Yep.
Essentially anything that we get from the tickets, any earnings from the event, only goes to paying for product or going to like our sponsor or paying for equipment to better the next year's event. So our goal is to never profit individually because we all have good paying jobs. It just goes towards the event to just strengthen the next event for the community. So we're all about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, and also that's the school that I taught at, and the Thursday before the event, I went to Triangle, and I went in and said hi to all my old teacher friends. I there was one kiddo that was totally like being a pain to one of my teacher friends, and I stepped in as someone he doesn't even know who I am, but like teacher mode kicked in, and I got him going where he had to be. But there is this huge uproar that occurred. So my second graders that I had last year, they're all third graders now. And I went upstairs to go see one third grade class because my mentor, Miss Godfried, she's in
Godfried?
Godfried, yeah, Gottfried.
Awesome.
She's this old poker player. She is great. But I went to see her class, and then as I was leaving, one of the other third grade classes down the hallway saw me, and they had a substitute because their teacher was out, and I was like, "Ooh, substitute. Maybe I don't go in there and cause a dilemma because, they'd be crazy."
Right.
And they one kid saw me, went, "Mr. Rockwell," and then the entire class just stormed out of the room and spilled out to the hallway and went, "Oh goodness!" And I ran away. I literally just left. And then they all went inside and started crying and writing me love notes and all this stuff. And then the substitute sent two students down as ambassadors to the office, and then they made an all call for me
Wow.
to go. I got a text message also from one of my old coworkers, like, go to the office right now. So I go to the office. I take these two ex students of mine up back to their classroom, and like their kids crying. It
That's
they
crazy.
missed me so much, and it was. I mean, I feel bad that I like ran away, but I didn't want to
Right.
ruin the substitute's day.
Yeah,
And
you don't want
then
to disrupt the day.
and the way that the classrooms are set up is there are four classrooms all connected by one room in the middle, and they all have windows looking into that one room. And as I was like, okay, guys, I'll go to the other classroom, say hi to them. I'll go to Miss Crane's class. I was going across, and the other three classrooms saw me in the pod, which is what we call the room that connects all of them. And
Right.
those three classrooms emptied into the pod, which is this small little
Oh my
room,
gosh.
and were giving me all these hugs. And oh man, it was like I was famous for a second.
Well, that's great. 'Cause you're gonna be coming back soon, and when you come back, you can continue to make that impression in these people's
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
so those kids were stoked to see me, and they'll be stoked to have. Well, did you hear that?
What's that?
My nose just made a big squeaky noise.
I thought that was Nick's chair.
Nope, it was my nose. These kids have actually pretty awesome after-school programs going on right now. Their music teacher has a choir and also a steel drum club.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've just posted some videos of their concert, and it sounds pretty awesome. Um, and they have last year they had a board game club, which was put on hold because the teacher that ran it had a beautiful baby boy, and she'll be starting it up again next year. But Breakpoint even helped us out last year. Like we told
Yes.
Dave,
Hmm.
hey, we're running this on Thursdays, we're running this after school program, and he's like, I'll give you 20% off anything you need if it's going for the school. So that was a big help. And now
Oh yeah.
we kind of boosted it a little bit more by having, making money for them at breakpoint. It's
Right.
yeah, not making, earning, being donated. Words. Anyways, is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, I posted something into the
Yes,
Discord, and
there is something I want to talk about.
what's up?
There was a mill deck that was there
Oh my gosh,
that
yeah.
went 6-0 at the Jackal Hunt event.
They
Bro,
just posted it.
Lorsanteca, or however you pronounce his name, I think I did pronounce it right.
You did it great.
Lorsanteca.
You did it awesome.
Oh my god, that guy's
It's not
busted.
breaking.
No. This is the guy that has the power action to let you choose 3 cards from your discard pile, which is always going to be mitigation essentially. Then an opponent adds one of those cards to your hand, and you set the other 2 cards aside. So Trevor, which was actually the second place player, was playing another variant of the whole big like Mega Blaster fist build with Snoke. I think he was playing Snoke Watt instead of Snoke Watto. But the other guy that was making a huge impression during Top Cut, I believe his name was Josh. I think it was Joshua. If I don't have the name right, I will find out and I can
I
put it in
didn't
the
catch
comments
his
of
name.
this
I
video.
can check
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
He played a solo Sabine deck last time I played him at a major event. Great guy, great player. He was playing a mill deck with Source on Tekka
Oh,
and
Lore Senteca.
Lore Santeca,
There you go.
and and it was just brutal. It was just super brutal. I'm gonna see if I can try to find the list and put it here in the description
Oh,
of the video.
I have the list right now.
Do you?
The title used to be 6-Die Hero Mill, and now he changed it to Billionaires just to one up Millionaires.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
As it was happening, like if you watch the stream, there was at no point in time where that gentleman did not have 9 resources on his board.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see all that stuff, and as a mill player sitting there being like, man, I didn't think of that.
Right.
Like
People were surprised with it. I mean, they knew he existed, but that's the first time. I mean, this is one of the first big events for Standard since Rotation and Convergence. So people are kind of getting an idea of what's coming down the pipeline.
It has everything that I love about Mill in it. It has oh, I stuttered. It has easy pickings and entangled, and my favorite card, Flames of the Past, and Vandalize, and then Force Jump. And and Anakin's Pod Racer. It just does exactly what you want in a mill deck. It has all the key parts, and also Clandestine Operation can be put into this deck, and you can resolve money because they all have money sides,
Right.
and you could just mill them for days.
Yeah.
So it's Jar Jar, Satine, and Lore. And
yeah, he was actually playing Elite Satine. Yep.
It's
and
6
Lore
dice.
And Elite Jar Jar, and that's 6 die. And he was playing it on Obi-Wan's hut.
And also, this deck, I don't think has a single legendary. Yeah, no, not a single legendary card. Everything's rare or lower.
Unfortunately, one of the matches that he played, the autofocus thing did not get turned off. So in the beginning, it's a little rough, but if you stick to it, you can see the game follow through. And I mean, right now he was playing against Trevor, which was playing the Watt Snoke First Order Stormtrooper build, which is kind of like a variant of what Andrew won, except he was playing with Watto. I mean, literally, he's got most of his supports on the field. He's got 2 tech teams rolling out Vader die, or not Vader die, but rolling out the Trooper dice. And I mean, it's just he's just stomping them. He's doing a great job at it. And long story short, he ended up having 3 discard on the table, and there's nothing he could have done. Got the 3 cards he had left out of his hand, and he ended up pulling through. And you can spot him during a live stream because he's playing the Rogue Squadron, like 80s theme playmat, which I immediately fell in love with because that's like my style art. And they had like 8 minutes left in the game, and he pulled it through. And that's not easy with Mill. I mean, you got to really think and really get through. But with all that dice saturation, all these cheap
Oh
upgrades.
my gosh. Yeah, he had like 20 dice in the pool
Yes.
at all times. It just
Literally, I'm looking at the stream. He ended it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 die are in the pool right now.
yeah, it's pretty silly. And
Hmm.
I love it how I think the most expensive card right now is Satine, because unless you buy her as singles, you need to buy
Right.
2 Obi-Wan starter decks. Um, yeah, this is gonna be dope. One thing that I did realize after reading his deck profile on Star Wars Destiny database is that for Lord Santeca's ability to go off, you have to have 3 cards.
Yes.
So your mulligan is really important. You want to have like cards you can play and cards that go into the garbage can. But like the cost curve on this, there's nothing. There's 6 cards that are 0 cost. There are 15 cards that are 1 cost, and there are 9 cards that are 2 cost. And if you just like get a couple of Satine sides, you're gonna have plenty of money for the whole game to play every single card in your deck and then get it back.
Right.
Ugh.
I mean, even when he was playing against Han Kura, and that's on stream, he was playing against the Han Kura deck. And I mean, Han Kura's fast, blaster damage, putting damage on him. I mean, he was shielding up, mitigating like a fool, and ended up taking him out also. I mean, I was running the stream when I wasn't helping James with like raffles or whatever, because James was mostly judging the event, helping with the raffles, just kind of keeping things going while I'm making sure people are comfortable and keeping the stream smooth. After we started having some hiccups, and he was just sitting there at the top tables with me, just like for like 3 or 4 rounds. So I got to see that deck in action quite a few times.
Yeah, total health for the deck is 26.
Yeah,
Yeah, 7, 9, and 10. Yeah, 26. Which is actually 1 health less than Millionaires.
I could
It's
tell you, Hired Muscle was very prominent there. I mean, that was the card that was in every deck running yellow.
well, that was in every deck that came that their shop got Allies of Necessity.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
we really wanted Allies of Necessity to be at Breakpoint, but it wasn't.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
FFG wasn't able to get the order to them in time.
so yeah, so that
There's
would have
people
been
asking for it left and right.
that would have been just like another step up too, because like after the
Right.
event, if we still had some stragglers, we could draft a box. Like let's just all go in on a box. Let's do it. And here's some
Mhm.
allied necessities. That was the plan, but things happen. Hopefully next year the beginning of the block is released again.
Right.
right at our right at our event.
And here's the thing too. So another round that he was playing was against Padme Bush.
You're talking about the
And
6
yeah,
dice. Yeah.
right. He pulled through that too. It was so cool to literally watch the stream, and it's kind of funny because it was like his own personal little stream because he was literally at top tables for a long time, and he just sat there just going through all these different so-called meta decks. And that's really neat for people to watch that are watching the stream, is you get to see how some other decks perform, but you really get to see how this new mill deck performs and how Lore Santeca just really like pulls together with this. Eric actually beat him, I believe. I'm double checking now, but I think Eric actually pulled it through at the end. He was on the stream, or he lost.
No, that was yeah.
Checking now.
Eric.
Did he lose?
Eric lost because he
But he
that was
said
in
that was the
Swiss.
closest game. Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
his best game that he played against somebody. So
Yeah. Yeah, Eric had only a couple of cards left in hand, and he was showing everything that he needed, and Eric just couldn't put out the damage, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong,
Yes.
and
No,
you
you
could
were
double
correct.
check the stream. But they shook and left on awesome terms. But Mill always leaves that little twinge of
I mean, we're looking at 10 hours.
10 and a half
live-
hours of live
10
stream.
and a half hours of live stream.
That thing has like 600 views too.
Yeah, I mean it's only been out for a little bit, and it's been taken off. But you get to see the end round against I'm not sure who he's playing. Oh, Joshua. So Joshua was the gentleman we're talking about that won the bounty box. He was playing a very neat style Sentinel, Watt, and
Afra, right?
one die Afra.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's actually the guy who made all the stuff for the event from Wiregrass. And he made like his own little deck box custom because he loves Afra and droids. He built this neat like assassin. What else did it run? It ran like Archangel. It ran BT 000, Com Tower. It was just tech team. A lot of just like neat little droid supports. And I mean, he was just really pushing through. And with the 3 die start that he had running these characters, it just really packed a punch. And people were very surprised. And he wasn't surprised. He's been playtesting it for a while, and he's been on it for a while. But like, you can't get fooled by the 3 die start because of all the supports that you can just push through. So,
I mean,
and
meat
Sentinel
shields are always
Messenger,
a thing.
man. Yeah, Sentinel Messenger is definitely something people have been putting under the microscope a little bit more and more, because in certain situations, and if you know your deck pretty well, you can pop off a lot of this mitigation or play some of these cards in a very sneaky way, which kind of gives you like this whole flash ability that you would get in Destiny or in Magic. Overall, for running the whole Infinite format and putting together this Destiny event with raffles, side event, live stream, packing everybody in a smaller game store. I mean, we pulled it through, and in all, that's what it's about. We're going to tailor some things, and anyone listening to this podcast, we'd love to hear the things you liked or disliked if you're able to make it to the event, or just hearing us talk and joining in with us on this podcast. Let us know what your opinions are on things, because we want to make this better for you guys. That's what it's about. It's a chance for you guys to be able to communicate with the community, give us a chance to meet you in person, which is always great. And it's really neat because it's gotten to the point now where when I play Destiny and I go places, it's like I'm playing with a bunch of friends. It's like we're all hanging out playing. Doesn't matter what the event is. It's like I see the same people all the time, which is really neat. So when a new person joins in, it's like, oh, this is great. You know, we got this new player. Let's give him some commons, uncommons, some rares, whatever. Let's support him and get him into this game. So it's neat to be able to play with a bunch of your friends and family all the time when you go to events in Destiny. So that's very special.
I don't have any questions from the Discord. I asked one. It was very boring, and I didn't at everybody. I just wrote paper or plastic.
So I'm
no
voting
answers.
plastic. And here's the reason why.
Why?
Plastic is an option for alternate art cards. And there is a such thing also as plastic and foil. And I'm very interested to see what a plastic alternate art card would look like. So maybe someday we'll get to that as we get time. Now that we're done with the Jackal Hunt, now we're going to get some time for us to be able to play the game a little bit and get into some tournaments and have some fun with the GQ here in Atlanta. But after that, I mean, basically, it's all going to be into Patreon, doing some neat things with Destiny, and getting ourselves back on a schedule for a while until, Kappa Cup hits or Worlds.
I'm excited to get back to Mill.
Yeah, I mean, there's a freaking awesome Mill deck to play now. That's for sure.
Yeah. Before I was messing around with new Leia Lando, and that was fun. There was a new guy that came to our shop, and I felt bad. I milled him 10 cards the first round, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stop playing you because I don't want to make you leave. Okay, I have our closing statement. I just asked for it.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh my god.
I heard a Discord ping.
Yeah.
What did I miss here? Help us podcast.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
There's two. So we'll save the funny one for later.
So yes, we go ahead.
We'll miss you, Chewbacca.
Peter Mayhew.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a sad thing. We know he's been sick for a while. I did have the pleasure of actually seeing him in person from afar whenever he was there at the Star Wars Celebration when me and Rizzo went back in, when did we go? 2017, 2 years ago. And so that was pretty cool to at least be able to experience that. I didn't get any signatures from him, unfortunately. He's a very popular guy. Unfortunately, I went after Mark Hamill. So,
Well, yeah.
but
You can only
you know.
use handicap passes powers for one
Exactly.
person. Yeah.
Yep, you're right. I mean, that's the thing. Next time, I'm just gonna like have people like
That's
pay me
what you think.
$5, and I'll just kind of like use myself as like luxury through fast lines. If anyone's going to Star Wars Celebration. So, but long story short, he's gonna be missed. I mean, he definitely brought a nice, lovable, brave character to Star Wars, and something so very iconic and natural in his acting ability. And then now with the new actor taking his place in the new film, I mean that's got to be tough for him also because of all that. They've been very close in his acting here
Yeah.
lately. So
Headless Django suggests that our closing statement should be
he's
punch
still
it,
awake.
Chewie.
He's not freaking passed out on a couch somewhere.
You just talked over my closing statement. It was
Okay,
supposed
go
to be
ahead.
touching. Headless Django also suggests that our closing statement should be punch it, Chewie.
Punch it.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like we shouldn't do what the Gandork says, because let's keep it with the Chewie love.
The Chewie love.
Yeah.
Well, he was on our live stream. He was on the playmat from the new Galactic Qualifier playmat.
He was,
Made by Trevor,
and
which
he
was our
was
second place winner.
He was the last card that I needed to complete my convergence set.
Oh. Well, I tell you what, if I play trilogies, I want to try to build a deck with Chewie just to kind of in memory of for the GQ. That'd be fun.
Okay. Yeah,
Han and Chewie.
I like this
They're both
somber.
Call it Dead Guys.
No.
Too soon?
No, but one's dead in real life and one's not dead in real life.
Yes, I know. I shouldn't laugh, but
it's like,
I'm a terrible person. Those who are listening.
that somber note is just evaporating. All right.
But the dice tray or the actual table that they're playing on in the stream, I have two cool variants that I'm going to be working on here after the tournaments I'm going to, and potentially in between the GQ. So I think everyone's going to be really excited about it. It's going to have some neat features that's going to allow people to be able to follow along better on the live stream that I'm super excited about. And then they may be potentially for sale. It always makes it hard when people want to buy tabletops.
Ashton?
Yeah.
Do you know what the word closing means?
No.
Closing means an ending.
I don't ever sleep. There is no ending.
Ashton.
See, Drizzle spoke. He said true.
Ashton, we had a closing statement because I was trying to end the podcast, friend.